I have a 4K Sony TV that stopped working after a lightning strike, and I'm going to plug it in, just show you what's going on. When I plug it in, we actually don't really get any power. The standby light never turns on, but when I check with my multimeter, the standby voltage that's going out of the power supply to the main board, we do get our 3.3 volts. My standby voltage is the 3rd pin on the bottom row, and my other lead is already on chassis ground, and we get 3.4 volts, close enough to the 3.3, so that means my power supply is not affected. So now that we've confirmed the power supply still has output voltage to the main board, we're going to do some closer looks on the main board itself. Typically with lightning strike or power surge issues, the main board is most likely to get affected, and usually the lightning strike or power surge will come in through the HDMI ports or through the Ethernet. Now, I did take a closer look, and I actually am seeing some burning right over here, so most likely the strike came in through the Ethernet port. Now that we're zoomed in, it's very obvious that we have a lot of damage around the Ethernet port, and we can tell we have a resistor over here that is completely burned. A capacitor over here looks physically damaged on that corner, like a chunk is missing, and I'm sure there's more damage, but one thing that I want to do is just follow these traces and see where they go. So for example, here we'll follow these two. They go over here, then they go down over here, and then there are 2 points that go into the board. So what this means is that actually it's going to pop up on the other side. So we'll look for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row with one in front. We'll flip the board. And here we are. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 with one in front. So the top ones were the one we were following. And we'll follow, now it goes this way, over here, and again, right back through the board. So we'll look for these guys on the other side. And they pop right back up over here, and then up into the heatsink, under the heatsink where the processor is. So if we remove the heatsink, boom and boom, and we'll follow it again now that I removed the heatsink, but it goes right in under the processor chip here. So to confirm, I'm going to put one of my leads here in beep mode, and we'll go back to here, and that is a short. So it indicates that we did follow that trace correctly. So that is a direct line to the processor, which means it was most likely affected and shorted during the lightning strike or power surge. So let's take a look and see if there are shorts on any of the capacitors around it to confirm whether or not the processor is shorted. And I've actually already done this, so I know exactly which ones to look at, but we have a capacitor right here. Nope, we have a capacitor right here. Yep, there it is. This one is showing a short. And this is a good board. When comparing off of this good board, we get 6.1, 6.2 mega ohms. So obviously not a short. So that confirms our processor is shorted and needs to be replaced. So our next step is bringing the board to the rework machine. We're going to remove the processor, double check, confirm that the short is gone from that little capacitor down here, and then attach a new processor and put it back on the TV.
Let's begin by adding a little bit of flux around the CPU. We'll start by positioning the top heat and the bottom heat. It looks like we've reached temperature, and now I'm going to prod the chip. Yeah, looks good. Alright, that looks like a good lift. We'll add a little bit of flux to make the process a little bit smoother. And you don't apply too much pressure here, you're kind of just flowing over the top nice and gently. And the same thing here with the desoldering wick. I'm not pressing into the board or else you'll cause delamination. You're just kind of floating across the top. Nice and slow, not applying too much pressure. And we'll do it one more time just to make sure we got all the remnants of the old lead-free solder. Alright, that looks good. Spray this down with a little bit of alcohol and make sure we get all the flux residue off. And now we'll apply some fresh flux. Alright, I think that looks good. Let's go ahead and pop on that new chip. Got to make sure this is aligned just right. A lot of the times it'll just fit right into the grooves and you'll know it snaps right in because it won't move from either the top or the bottom or the side to side. Alright, looks like it's all done. We'll go ahead and let this thing cool down and then we'll hand it back to Nick.
Now that we've installed the new chip, let's do a check for resistance and see if our short is still present. And we are now getting 9.48, 9.5 mega ohms. So that means the short is now gone and the TV should in theory now work. And actually, before we do plug it in, I want to make sure that there are no issues with any of the components here that could cause damage again. So real quick, we'll do a few checks on our capacitors. I want to make sure there's no shorts. And none here, none here. And I am in beep mode, so when there is a short, there's a beep. And no shorts here. So this is a 0 ohm resistor. These are inductors, so they're supposed to be shorted, so that's fine. And then this resistor over here most likely failed open, so we're not going to have any resistance. Right, and that's the case. Okay, so it is safe to plug in, and we'll come back maybe later to try and fix this, or we might do a different video for that, depending on how involved this is. I just finished installing the main board back into the TV, and I also did plug in a Fire Stick into the HDMI port number 4. As I had mentioned, often when we have power surges or lightning strikes, the HDMI processor can get affected, and even though we didn't find any shorts on it, I just want to be sure. And the TV is turning on, so we're all set there. That means we've resolved one of the problems. And we're also going to want to do some checks on the internet, see if the Wi-Fi at least is still working. All right, so it is detecting the Fire Stick, so it is booting in. We're going to navigate to our menu. Okay, please wait. All right. So navigating down to the settings, network settings, we're going to double check the Wi-Fi, CenturyLink. Wi-Fi connected successfully, so we're in. Now that we've confirmed the Wi-Fi is working, we'll take the board back onto the bench and we're going to try and fix that Ethernet port and get it back up and running. Even though we didn't detect any shorts on the capacitors over here or this big one, they are looking a little bit damaged physically, so we're going to replace them. And we're also going to replace this resistor bank over here. So we'll remove first the components. They are a little bit burned, which is making it harder to make contact with the exposed pins. Now we'll remove all the excess solder. All right, I grabbed a couple of our items from scavenger boards. We'll go ahead and install these parts. And right now I'm only soldering a little bit of these, one of the pads, just to get them locked in because they're very small and they easily fly off and they're very easy to lose. So I just want to lock them in. All right, perfect. And now I can add a little bit of flux everywhere to make it easier. And I'm actually also going to switch over to a smaller tip. Oh, and I'm realizing my tip is actually not small enough to fit between the capacitor and the resistor, so I'm actually going to have to probably remove that. So we're actually going to use a little hot air because I have to remove that capacitor to then be able to properly solder on the resistor. All right. We have a little solder bridge here. There we go. And we're actually going to use the hot air to finish up the job. If we're going to do that, let's just do the capacitor at the same time. Alright, so we're just going to reflow essentially both the capacitor and the resistor bank here together. can you bump me up to 400? All right, I think I just got good flow here. We're gonna add a little bit of solder on the other side of these caps. Ah, no. All right, we're gonna reflow those as well. Just gonna put a little fresh flux again. So as I'm doing this repair, my tech Juan that I was watching pointed out it looks like 2 of our traces here are actually completely gone. They've disappeared. Most likely they've actually burned up during the power surge or lightning strike. So we're gonna just do, to confirm that they're just not blackened and not still present, a beep mode check. So I'm gonna put 1 lead here and 1 lead here, and we don't get a beep. We'll try over here. Still no beep. So there's no continuity. If we check over here with these guys, we do have a beep and we do have a beep. So these are good, but these 2 here are completely burnt off. That's gonna be a lot more involved. For those of you that did see our trace repair video on the Vizio mainboard, you'll know how difficult that can be. So at this point, we're gonna have to stop the repair, get in contact with the customer, and see if they want us to keep going, because that's gonna have to be an extra charge at this point. See if the Wi-Fi is good enough or if they absolutely need the Ethernet port working. But at this point, we'll have to stop the video. So if you did like the content, if you'd enjoyed the video, leave us a like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.